All right, what's up, my friends? Welcome. It's everyone's favorite time of the Magic season, Alchemy Rebalance time. And the Lord of the Rings cards here are getting a little bit of a makeover.
Fool of a took.
Orcish Bowmasters One Ring. So now, this is a pretty interesting thing for a few reasons. And we're going to talk a little bit about Historic, which is one of my favorite formats, as well as Magic Arena in general. And about rebalances in general. So, when rebalancing of cards was first announced, those that don't know on Arena, they'll just edit the cards for the digital formats. I was on board with it. I thought rebalancing was really, really cool. There was a way to kind of like see, what a card should have looked like kind of thing. I was pretty on board with it. As time has gone on, I played with the cards, and I love Historic as well as the format. I've found it to be just too jarring, honestly. It's just too much. It's just too confusing to have a card do one thing in one format and one thing in the other. Especially given that these cards are played in formats on Arena that are also, so like you have Bowmaster do one thing in Alchemy and one thing in Historic. You play a Cube Draft, don't know what version it is. You can play Modern. It's just too confusing. It just doesn't work. I think the rebalancing for the digital only cards is phenomenal. Love it. Crucius, make it a 3-1. Perfect. Because those cards only ever exist in one place. And you can only rebalance or change a card if it will be forever changed. If you could Doctor Strange, whatever, Spider-Man No Way Home, make everyone forget that Bowmasters had an ETB ability and change every paper version ever, cool, do it. That's great, but you can't. It's not how Magic works. So therefore, I really don't think rebalances are a good idea in general. That being said, Historic was once my favorite format. It still probably is, but it's gotten a lot worse with the release of Lord of the Rings. Because what I loved about Historic was that it was the format where it was a Brewer's Paradise, where it was tons of awesome cards, but nothing at an outlier power level of all the MH2 cards. Lightning Bolt, Counterspell was really, really high-end cards alongside things like Fury, Solitude, Ragavan, and so on and so forth. You didn't need those weren't there. But the problem is, once Lord of the Rings released, it's basically just Modern Horizons 3. And Bowmasters and One Ring are on that level of, Ragavan, Ren and 6, Solitude, absolutely busted must-play cards. And we've seen that. Historic has become kind of a Bowmaster, One Ring wasteland a little bit. I don't play Alchemy personally, but Alchemy is just standard plus Bowmasters and One Ring, which seems absurd to me and really stupid. So, these cards are obviously too good. And the question is, what do you do? Do you change the card? Do you edit the card or not? They announced when they were doing the digital-only rebalances that they were going to avoid rebalancing iconic cards. So they wouldn't rebalance Lightning Bolt. They wouldn't rebalance a Fetch Land. They wouldn't rebalance, Jace the Mind Sculptor. The cards that were like really, really iconic to Magic as a game, they were not going to touch, which again is another really weird slippery slope. There's just so many slippery slopes and caveats and stuff. It just goes to show why the rebalancing is a huge problem. And realistically, isn't the One Ring an iconic card at this point? Isn't it it's the most important card in Lord of the Rings? It's been seeing heavy play in all formats. It's a big deal. It's a big freaking deal. So it actually becomes what do you do? Do you just ban these cards? Personally, yes, that's what I think. I think Historic should just ban both these cards and be done with it. But they didn't. So what did they do? Long spiel about that. They removed the ETB ability from Bowmasters, making the card almost unplayable. Was the 1/1 for 2 with Flash. And now it only ever works if your opponent draws an extra card, making it a fringe sideboard card at best. And that's part of the problem with rebalancing also is that it's really, really hard to hit the nail right in the middle. If you go too far, the card's unplayable. If you don't do enough, it just stays the same. So how far do you go? And I would say Bowmasters right now is in this form is almost unplayable, except as a sideboard card against decks drawing a lot of cards. What made Bowmasters so good is that the floor is this weird Spark Mage Apprentice Raise the Alarm hybrid, and the ceiling is just so much more than that. But without that floor, it's just a 1/1 flash for 1 in some matchups, So that's Bowmasters, unplayable now for the most part. The One Ring, it gets a 1 mana activation cost on the draw ability. Otherwise, it looks the same, right? Battlefield. Yeah, so all I did was add a 1 mana activation to the One Ring. That does make it a lot more fair. I would say the One Ring is probably, fair to reasonable now. Now it costs 5 mana to draw your first card, which is a pretty big deal. You can just cast it on 4, but you don't get to get the card draw. The thing about One Ring was it was Harmonize plus Time Walk, and then if you get one extra turn after that, you have to Harmonize again. Now on turn 4, it's just Time Walk into untap, pay one, draw one, and the next turn is it's much, much slower. So this version of One Ring is much, much more fair. I think this card will see some play, but not that much, which is pretty good. It's a pretty good nerf, honestly. I think it's a pretty well thought out nerf. But again, I think the problem over here overall is I just think nerfs are bad. I think they're just bad for the game. Again, I love digital only cards. I love historic. I think Alchemy's not really a format that like needs to exist. I don't know why it does exist at this point. But yeah. So I don't know. That's the changes. That's how I feel about it. You know, I've said my piece to some folks who work at WotC or whatever. And I would love to see some changes. They also they touted Alchemy as a ever-changing format, and these cards have been rotting for the past 6 months or whatever. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know. So if I had the keys, I would just have not changed these cards and banned them in both Alchemy and Historic and just called it a day. And then I would be very, very careful going forward about what the new releases look like for the new formats, because these outlier cards are just a huge, huge problem. But it is what it is. So let me know what you think in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe, hit all the buttons, all the things. Appreciate it. Thanks so much. And there it is.
You could have picked a better spot.